calling 205-723-0731. Again, to join the show, call 205-723-0731. Or you can message us on the Catfish Tuscaloosa app. Now, live, Lisa Jones and Johnny Aycock.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Noon Show with Lisa and Johnny. We are coming to you live and streaming everywhere. The Noon Show airs Monday through Friday from noon until 1 o'clock Central Time. Each day, we bring you engaging conversations, fresh perspectives, and stories that connect us all. Johnny and I would like to invite you to join us along with today's show guest, Dr. Stephen Weinman. He is an associate professor at the Department of Engineering at the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. So for today's conversation, pull a chair, sit back, and relax. And now, without further ado, here's Johnny.
Welcome to the Noon Show right here on FM 100.1. Thank you for joining us on Groundhog Day, everyone. And we always appreciate you tuning in. But today is Groundhog Day. Now, we've got a little issue going on with Groundhog. Punxsutawney Phil, who is the famous soothsayer of all soothsayers about the weather, he saw his shadow this morning. And I got a problem with that, Miss Lisa.
What is that?
Because that means 6 more weeks of winter.
Well,
that's in complete opposition to what the Farmer's Almanac says.
Okay.
Farmer's Almanac says spring's coming early this year and it's going to be a hot one. And Punxsutawney saw a shadow and he says 6 more weeks.
Okay, so, how reliable is Punxsutawney Phil as compared to the Farmer's Almanac?
I'm going with Farmer's Almanac.
I would go Farmer's Almanac all the way. If I were a betting person.
Well, as someone who farmed for a while, we went by the almanac and we never missed anything. We planted at the right time. We grew fantastic produce and vegetables and always did well. So, you know, Punxsutawney is just an old fat gopher anyway, isn't he?
That's not a nice thing.
Isn't he a big old gopher? Well, he's in Pennsylvania.
Well, I know he's not going to hear you, but
now, Stephen was telling me, our guest today, that there's a possum up at the Birmingham Zoo.
Oh, that's right. He did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, he saw a shadow too.
He saw a shadow.
Saw a shadow
we don't know about the possum, but I'm going with Farmer's Almanac. So good news, folks. Spring's coming early.
Yes.
We're going to get in trouble if it doesn't.
Well, we want to call it. It's been really, really, I don't remember being as cold as I was this weekend.
That Saturday was really cold with that wind cutting through. It was, I don't know what it was gusting up to, but it was brutal. And hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody's got their power back if you had any issues out there. And it is the first day of a brand new week. So welcome to a new week, which means new opportunities, new chances to make a difference, to matter, and to really do something cool.
Yeah.
I mean, brand new week. Let's get started and have some fun. And, you know, I'm one of those crazies that like Mondays, you know. I like to wake up on Monday and say, man, this is good.
Stephen, do you like Mondays?
Depends on the Monday.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
No, every Monday's a good one because it is the beginning of a new day, new week, and new opportunities.
You know what? I wanted to point out, Stephen, that we, the three of us, have a mutual friend. I don't know if you realize this. I was talking to her earlier today. Shout out to Carol Sanders.
Oh, yeah, I know Carol. We hosted a conference, and she was a big help with getting some of the stuff from the local businesses and getting tons of stuff set up. Yeah, she was awesome.
Yes, she said you guys have it's an international conference, I believe, coming up in Albuquerque in July.
In San Antonio in July. Yeah, we were in Albuquerque a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Shout out to Carol. Hope she's doing well.
Carol's fantastic to work with.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she worked for me. She started with me at the chamber and was a dynamite partner to have, and a great team member, worked with everybody beautifully, and she went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
And she's still doing some super work. So, Carol, we hope you're doing well, feeling well, and hope to see you soon.
Absolutely.
And, you know, another thing that I found interesting this morning.
What did you find interesting?
Hollywood has run out of ideas for movies.
Okay.
Do you know the next one they're making?
What's that?
Y'all remember the Chia Pets?
Yeah.
That
the infomercials.
All the infomercial on Chia Pets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Hollywood has decided to make a Chia Pet movie. Now, tell me, is that the dumbest thing you've ever
I mean, they're
heard?
really grasping at straws here.
Oh my!
If
goodness.
anybody in this studio ever had a Chia Pet, raise your hand.
Oh, I did.
Oh my goodness!
30 years ago, but I did.
Yeah, did you like it?
Oh, it was fun as a kid.
That's
Yeah.
a scientist. That was scientist in you, probably.
Yeah, it was probably-
Wondered how it worked.
Here's a word for you. That was probably a scientist-y thing to
Yeah.
do.
Absolutely.
But I saw that and I said, yeah, Hollywood's kind of finally hit the cellar. They don't have much to work with anymore.
All you can say is, well, bless their hearts.
Yeah, that's a good Southern thing to say. To all our Hollywood friends, they show hard.
No,
Anyway,
sure.
but no Chia Pet movie for me.
No Chia Pet, baby, no. Mm-mm.
We'll feed the Chia Pet to Punxsutawney Phil.
There you go.
Team him. But anyway, we have got such a busy week coming. I mean, we got things going on all
We got a lot.
over the place.
We got a lot to do this
And
week.
we really do. In the next 2 weeks, there are concerts and activities. And let's start with one of our favorite causes who do so much good work. That's One Mission Tuscaloosa County. And
Okay,
this coming Saturday is their annual Homeless Connect.
that's right.
First Baptist Church is the location, downtown Tuscaloosa. 7 o'clock a.m. the doors open to 1 p.m. And what's so amazing about this is they serve anyone that's in need, homeless, those struggling, people just have all kinds of needs. And Homeless Connect allows and provides a place for anybody to walk in the door and get served by a one-on-one volunteer who's been trained to work with
Isn't
them
that
and
incredible?
counsel them. And they can do anything from getting haircuts to getting medical help, dental work, legal assistance, counseling, just all kinds of things. And I've had a chance to see behind the scenes last year. It's amazing one-on-one service for these individuals who need our help. And so show up for that. If you want to volunteer, you can still do that. But that night, there's a big concert to kind of celebrate the day.
Well, and it's a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser
For One Mission
for the
Tuscaloosa County.
benefiting
Yeah.
One Mission Tuscaloosa County. And that's our good friend, Harrison McCullough and Friends.
Harrison McCullough and Friends. And don't forget, we've got 2 tickets to give away
We
to
do.
that concert.
We do.
And we need to drop the secret word. I think that Stephen should drop the secret
Let's
word.
do that. Yeah, and tell folks how we're going to do this.
Okay.
You go to our Facebook page
Uh-huh.
and you use this secret word that Stephen is getting ready to tell you.
And what do you do with the secret word afterwards? Put it in that post.
Put it in the post so we know
The
you
post that dropped yesterday to announce it. Yes.
know you're listening to us. So the secret word for the 2 tickets is going to be
What?
Mission.
All right.
Mission.
Mission. And turn that page over and tell everybody more about the concert. Tell them what it's at the Bama Theater. Tell them what
It's at
time.
Historic Bama Theater on February 7th, 2026 from 6 to 9 p.m.
And that is a fundraiser to benefit
It is.
One Mission Tuscaloosa County.
right
Thank you,
downtown
Stephen.
Tuscaloosa at the Bama. You can go to BamaTheater.org. And remember, theater spelled Theatre.
That's right.
BamaTheater.org to
Mhm.
get your tickets. Or you can, I think you can call. But can you call and get a ticket?
You are correct about
I think
that.
you
You
can.
just all you have to do is call 205-758-5195. Or like Johnny Rocket said, BamaTheater.org, BAMATHEATRE.org.
That's right. And remember, Harrison McCullough has got some friends with him, including
Ashton Aiken, Sadie McLean.
a great band, a
Mhm.
terrific band of talented folks. That's going to be a great show, benefiting a wonderful cause.
I'm gonna leave this note with the secret word next to Dr. Weinman so he can help us to remember to drop that word 1 or 2 more times before we go
That's right.
off the air. But we should talk about our good friend Edie Hand
That's
has
right.
got something coming
That's another
also at the
big program, big
Correct.
show coming up. And this is the Genuine Elvis concert. And I don't know who is not an Elvis fan. I think
Woo!
everybody is. even a new generation of folks, they just love Elvis.
Don't you step on my blue suede
This is
shoes.
going to be a really, really cool night because not only are you going to get to listen to great Elvis, music, songs sung by the legend himself, Ronnie McDowell, country music legend. And then, of course, Edie is a second cousin to Elvis, and
That's
her
right.
grandmother and his grandmother were sisters.
That's right.
And so there's going to be some storytelling going on because she knew Elvis, knew him personally, and that's pretty cool. And then Billy Blackwood of the Blackwood Brothers, who sang with Elvis for many, many years, he's going to be there performing also. And all of this is hosted by our good friends right down the hall, Steve and DC themselves.
Isn't that cool? I love
So,
that.
If you want to go get some tickets, you better get them quick because they're going to run out of these. This is a beautiful night of Elvis in concert, storytelling, great music, great performers. It's February 13th, downtown Bama Theater, 7 p.m. And you can go to bamatheater.org for tickets. And,
Absolutely.
I think you can go to ediehan.com also for even more information and maybe even a little bit of inside information on Elvis.
Absolutely. Could we just do a really quick run through? We got like 3 more announcements before break. Do you want to talk about that one, Johnny
Sure, I
Rocket?
will. And this is this week also, February the 6th. That's on Saturday. And there is our friends out at the Edge, the Alabama Entrepreneurial Institute has got a Growth and Innovation Leadership Summit going on this weekend. It's February the 6th out at the Edge. The Edge is a
cool
wonderful
place.
facility out on 10th Avenue. And if you'd like to be part of this, because we got to go to an entrepreneurial weekend and watch the students pitch their ideas.
Yeah, Shark Tank style.
Which was fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Have you ever been to the Edge, Dr. Wyman?
Yeah,
That's a cool place.
It's a cool place.
It is a really cool deal. Well, they've got another one coming up. And for more information, go to AEI, that's Alabama Entrepreneurial Institute, at ua.edu. And I know athletic director Greg Byrne is one of the keynotes.
Oh.
And he's going to be talking how you build a leadership organization.
We've got a lot of things going on
Really
February
cool.
the 6th.
So check that out, folks. That ought to be a great event.
Yeah, we got another event coming on February 6th.
And this is our good friends from Abilia.
Right. It's the Tools for Independence Expo.
Yeah. And if you want to learn have hands-on experience looking at assistive technology, which is basically to help promote independence among those with disabilities. And that can be any disability, visible or invisible. And it sounds fabulous because our good friends out there were telling us about all of the different technologies and instruments and devices.
Reese was here last week to tell us more about it.
Them. But if you'd like to go to that and want more information, go to accessabilio@gmail.com. It's going to be held over at the Easter Seals building, what it's called, on James Harrison Parkway. And that's February the 6th from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, and one more announcement. This is not until February 12th. It'll be here before we really realize it. So there's, as part of the ALIL seminar series, the University of Alabama is bringing Dr. Nicole Hess from Washington State University. She's going to do a talk on February the 12th at 7:30 at the University of Alabama, North Lawn Hall, room 2008. The title of the talk, Stephen, is Gossip as a Strategy to Compete for Resources.
Interesting.
That's that intriguing.
She's an anthropology professor there. And shout out to Dr. Courtney Helfrich, professor of anthropology at UA, who
put us on that.
Put us on this.
Courtney.
Have you had worked with Courtney?
Yeah, currently right now.
Great.
Oh,
That's
you
so
work with her now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm going to have a
We need
front
to know
row
more
seat
about-
on this one. This just looks cool.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be in the front row.
Yeah.
You think you're going to go, Stephen? Maybe?
Maybe I check my schedule.
Okay. All right. But don't forget about it, guys. It's February 12th at 7:30, North Lawn Hall, room 2008. Dr. Nicole Hess. She'll be talking about gossip as a strategy to compete for resources.
That just is a magnet title. It's going to draw so many good folks.
All right. I think it's about time to segue to break.
So,
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about several things with Dr. Weinman, but I want you all to realize water doesn't clean itself, but science is getting pretty close. After the break, we're diving into the tiny but mighty technology doing some very big jobs. You've been listening to the Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be here right back.
Watch your segue. That was good. I like that.
Well, Ryan Fowler sent me some materials on, segueing, the art of the tees. But I didn't get to, I couldn't quite find it. I need to talk, maybe he can give me an actual link. But then I had some assistance with that, we'll just say. But I didn't, I don't always like all of the assistance, so I will bet it. I thought that was
like
good.
that. Yeah.
But it's a little misleading because I really wanted to lead off with that other thing, that was talking about lab continuity. And we're just going to dive right into the funding and funding cuts, I should say. And then I like what he has to bring because I don't want to say
That's my kind of
I feel like what those two, and they're not anywhere in these questions. Might take an awful lot of time, but we've got to get to PFAS today. I feel like.
Yeah, when you
Get to whatever we get to.
into advocacy and public policy and lobbying, you're in the
Biocatalytic membranes.
That's what I used to do.
Did you like this definition of biocatalytic membranes?
$99 grand opening at the all-new Tuscaloosa Mazda. Every vehicle.
Yeah, and this it had natural helpers, and we can talk a little bit about what that means. Yes, so we're trying to do.
So
it
should
to
we
break bad
define
stuff
that
apart.
before we start talking about PFAS, maybe?
Well, so I'm not using it for PFAS stuff. So
Oh, you're not?
yeah, we're using not yet. We've used it for phthalates, which you've probably heard of. It's
Phthalates, yeah.
Plasticizers.
Yeah.
That's what we've been using it. That's what we've used it for so far. The enzymes to degrade PFAS is tricky. There's not really one out there.
There's not?
Not yet.
So was that
At some
statement to transition to break misleading then?
No.
No.
No, we're still talking about
Fouling.
any of the water treatment technologies we do apply to what you talked about. So you left it plenty open enough.
Definition?
Fouling.
Thanks for listening to the Noon Show with Lisa
Yep.
Jones and Johnny
Yep.
Aycock on
That's
Catfish 100.1.
It's the stuff you don't
You can
want in your water sticking to the membrane.
723-0741.
Is that something you use for cleaning up PFAS or no?
On the
Is it?
Catfish Tuscaloosa app.
PFAS
But-
is usually
but
foul
not-
membranes. It's other stuff.
Well, welcome back to the Noon Show right here on FM 100.
Sorry, I was busy talking to Stephen.
Better known as Fun Radio. We have a good time, and
We are.
you just have to be in the studio to enjoy what we do, because we have a crazy time. We just are always into something and talking about all this good stuff.
I like asking the professors all of my random questions off the air too.
That has become such a thrill for a non-academic like me, is to meet all of these folks that are doing really cool research.
Makes you feel spoiled to be able to spend
Oh,
time with them and ask them questions.
It's
doesn't
so
it?
much fun, and
Yeah.
we're so happy that we've got a great partnership with the University of Alabama. I mean,
Yeah.
we really do. The College of Arts and Sciences, College of Engineering, and I've got, I guess I can say this, we've got a real privilege today, I think, because Lisa and I are working on a book together on Tuscaloosa,
Oh,
and we're going to be interviewing the new president.
Oh, cool.
I was trying to show Stephen my earrings. I've got
And,
Alabama A earrings on for
We
that.
love the University of Alabama, and everybody knows I'm an Auburn graduate. I know that, but I love this university, and I love what they're doing. And so, yeah, lots of cool things going on around here. So, but one of the reasons we love coming to you every day is because we got great sponsors, and one of those sponsors is our good friends, family-owned, local business in downtown Tuscaloosa.
Ooh.
That's our good friends at Hudson Pool
Hudson
Fine
Pool.
Jewelers, 1111 Greensboro Avenue. And folks, if you're looking for the perfect gift and finding a way to put a smile on somebody's face, Hudson Pool is the only stop you need, quite frankly. And this week, it's going to be a great week down at Hudson Pool, because on Thursday and Friday, they have a celebrity estate sale going on with
Ooh.
jewelry from some pretty well-known
Oh, it already is this Thursday and Friday?
7th and 8th.
Wow.
That's this week. That's this week. And the cocktail party is Thursday night.
Is that Thursday night or Friday?
Thursday
Okay.
night. And do they know how to throw a cocktail?
Mm.
So, folks, if you want to see some beautiful, beautiful estate jewelry that was once owned by people like Mae West and Madonna,
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Michael Jackson,
Can you imagine?
Janet Jackson,
Oh my gosh.
all of these cool people, and their jewelry is going to be there on display and for sale. Can you imagine?
Well, I'm just going to go and check it out myself in
I'm gonna
person.
go check it out too. I'm
I'm probably
definitely
going.
want to go. To
I'm probably going to look at their beautiful selection of jewelry too at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
And they have it all, folks. And so, come on down this week and check this out. Again, Fuji and his team will throw a beautiful cocktail party beginning at 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, and then the estate sale starts that morning and continues on Friday. And
Oh.
so, if you're in town, let's all meet down at our good friends Hudson Pool. in
I agree.
Beautiful downtown T-Town. Now, if you're an out-of-towner, you know what? You can still join us. All you got to do is go to hudsonpool.com. That's hudsonpool.com. And you can find the perfect gift to put a smile on somebody's face for an occasion or just because. Just because.
Sure.
So, see you down there.
Yeah. Make sure you tell them that Johnny and Lisa sent you.
That's right. And we'll see you there. Go see our friends at the iconic retail store, Iconic Jeweler. Nowhere is there anybody better.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
That's right. Our
And
good friends.
In case you're just now joining us, we have in the studio today with us Dr. Stephen Wyman. He is a professor of engineering, associate professor at the University of Alabama. Welcome to the studio, Dr.
Yes,
Wyman.
thank you. Glad to be back.
Well, and you were such a hit. We got you back quick.
Yeah, you did.
And
We
you've
just
been on
had
another podcast.
so
We
much
were
to talk
talking
about.
that.
Yeah, so you were on concentrating on chromatography with David Oliva,
Yep.
and I listened to that one, and thanks for the shout outs.
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate that.
I
You connected
listened,
us.
I listened to it, and that's what we like to hear.
Yeah,
We like
I love to
connect.
send our researchers to David, and
We like
he's,
to connect.
we have a great collaboration going. I'm very grateful for that. But I like how he drew some parallels between his discussion with Dr. Guy Caldwell and yours. So Doctors Kim and Guy Caldwell at the Caldwell Lab, and you from your lab, you all seem to go to some really great lengths to make sure your PhD/graduate students are able to keep funding. This is in light of the recent federal budget cuts.
Yep.
So what I would like to know from you, I know that there's different reasons that this is important. I want to know all the reasons, but if you don't mind, I would like for you to talk about lab continuity among your PhD students. Why is that important?
Yeah, right. So while I have the title of professor and lead the lab, I don't really do most of the experiments in the lab, right? It's all the students, all the graduate and undergraduate students that do actually all the work in the lab. And we write about it, give talks about it, get to tell people about it, right? Things like this today. But they're the ones that do the work. And so, it's been 8 years since I've done most lab experiments in the lab. I just feel a few things that I know how to do.
Yeah, you're the
So-
mentor.
But
and you make
it's
things
mentoring.
happen.
Like, are
Right.
we doing this the right way? Is this data look good, etc.? Like, what do we
Correct.
need
You
to
have
do?
to vet everything out and keep them on track.
And so, lab continuity is critical. People know how your machine specifically works. Yeah, there might be a general protocol, but how does your one behave, right? Sometimes it can be
Right.
finicky, sometimes it can't.
Right.
Or we do different experiments where, you can read this quote recipe for how to do an experiment, but that doesn't mean that there's not some intuition that you have to use during it, right? So,
I
for
get
example, if you breathe on something wrong, you're going to get a bad result sometimes, and so you've got to know the specific steps on how to do all of this. And so we try to write some of the things down, but there's just some things that you have to learn, hands-on, doing it while someone's watching you how to do it, type of stuff. And so it's very important that we have this continuity of being able to show people how to do all these things as they get ready to graduate and leave and go find a job, whatever that may be, with industry or postdoc or another academic position or a national lab, right? And training all the new graduate students that come in and how to do all these things. And that takes time.
Right. That's
to
critically
master those
important.
things down.
Yeah,
And-
and one of the things that we can, oftentimes in the skilled trades, they talk about the pipeline. The pipeline, because of
Good
skilled
point.
trades are retiring out, we've got to fill the pipeline.
Yep. Yep.
Same goes for
Same
these
thing,
bright
yeah.
minds
Yep.
that are coming along to fill the pipeline.
The
That's
new, the
gonna
new
lead
ideas,
to
right?
research.
And it
to-
saves,
yeah,
lots and lots of time, right?
Yeah.
It can be 3 to 6 months to learn how to do something
Yeah.
really well. And so if you can cut any of that down, it's very, very helpful.
but we got to keep the research moving forward and keep that pipeline filled with these new scientists, new researchers
Yep.
doing this kind of work. So
Yep.
you just can't do something and stop. We
Right.
got to keep funding it.
Correct. Yeah, it depends on the award you get, but most awards that we get typically last 3 to 4 years. And for a typical graduate student, at least in chemical and biological engineering, they usually take about 5 years to graduate.
Yeah.
Is the typical average, right? So there's a mismatch in those number of years, and so we have to figure out and piece together different ways of funding to be able to
Right.
support them for their entire time, right?
But
That includes paying their stipend, essentially their salary, as well as their tuition, their benefits, right? And then also different materials and supplies they use in the lab, traveling to conferences, etc. Right? We have to pay all of those different things.
let's tell our audience a little bit why we're doing this and why we're talking about this. The federal government, through like the National Institute for Health and the
National Science
Science
Foundation,
Foundation.
Department of Energy.
the funding was cut for research pretty severely in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Not all, but a lot of
A
them.
lot of them.
And I'll give you an example. Dr. Caldwell, who we've mentioned, when he was on the show, he mentioned he had 9 PhD candidates, all had lost their funding. That's 9 potential scientists, researchers that are going to solve problems.
That's right.
And what's happened is that the federal government, and I won't go into the politics of it, cut a tremendous amount of this funding, and it needs to be restored because it has a severe impact on future solutions, future leaders in science and academia, where all the research happens. And so we're wanting to remind everybody, if you're talking with anybody in our congressional delegation, remind them we want the funding restored.
We do. We want that restored, and we are all for cutting out the fat.
Yeah, and
But at
you know,
the same time, we've got to keep what's really important.
2 of the leaders on restoring the funding are 2 important people. One is Senator Katie
Katie
Britt.
Britt.
She
Mhm.
plays a major role in the Senate on this. And then our own Congressman Robert Adderholt, who part of Tuscaloosa is in his district, he sits on appropriation and he writes budgets.
Yep.
And so both of them have taken a lead. And so what we want you to do is contact Senator Britt and Congressman Adderholt, thank them for taking the lead, and offer your support and encouragement so we can get this funding restored in the new fiscal year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, right, and it's, yes, we produce papers, yes, we get grant funding and all these things. Our product is the students that we produce,
That's
right, out of our labs, out of the
That's a
university.
great way to
And
articulate
so,
that.
right, that is our product that goes out into the world to work on whatever problem that they get hired to work on, right?
It's
And so if
very
we can't
valuable.
produce the students,
Yeah.
we don't have the product.
Yeah, that's exactly
We
right.
got to be
That's-
able to pay them, right? Otherwise, they're not going to do graduate school.
Well, and our university, of course, we've got a great research university. It's going to get even bigger. So we want to make sure that we're supporting our university.
Yep.
And across the state, we've got great
Mhm.
universities. So there's a lot of individuals like Stephen that are bringing along these new, fresh, bright, talented people. And we want to keep that
We do.
continuity
Yes,
going.
absolutely.
Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and segue to break. We'll be talking more when we come back with Dr. Stephen Wyman about what's happening in the lab today, what it means for our lives down the road. That's next on The Noon Show. You've been listening to The Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be here right back. I actually ad-libbed that one like a little bit because I didn't say it as written, but we need to drop the secret word again.
Yeah.
And then I meant to tease that, because I thought it was going to be funny. I wouldn't doubt that Johnny Rocket's going to pull the wagon. What's that alliteration? He's going to turn the conversation over to economic development.
Tuscaloosa, Chrysler, Dodge,
I love to do it.
Oh, whatever you do, Stephen, whatever you do, whenever we're live on the air, never talk about driving on McFarland Boulevard, Johnny.
So I got here.
Oh, we don't even want to go.
It was okay.
Look
okay.
what I just did. Look at his face.
What's so sad is there's not a solution.
It got better north of the river when they made it 3 lanes,
Well,
but it's not perfect.
but you got a 3. What I can't understand, don't get me started.
Oh, Lord, I should have said that.
You come over
I do
the
apologize.
bridge and start going down the hill by DCH.
Mhm.
It flows quite good until then.
Yeah.
But at 13th Street, there's always a backup, and it
Yeah.
starts right there, and it goes all the way to
Consistency hasn't changed because you don't change anything in food. It's made fresh every morning in every restaurant. I think buzzwords in today's food industry are.
That's the stoplights. Right? The
Trying to
stoplights plus
think,
number of
trying to
cars always
street.
creates
But
problems.
that thing, everybody's like,
We want to say, that sounds great.
two things happen. Their brain goes out to lunch, or the stupid feels kick in. I'm not sure what, maybe both. And it just,
Yeah, they
people don't know how to drive.
there's plenty of people that don't know how to drive.
They don't know how to drive. The other thing that's frustrating.
Or don't know where they're going. That's the other thing, right? They don't know where they're going, so then they're
In the
flopping
right
lanes
lane
and
and they
making.
turn left and go
Yeah,
across 2 lanes
yeah.
without telling you.
Yeah.
The other thing I can't figure out, actually I figured it out, it's not a good solution, because we don't have a solution. There's no other corridor across the metro area except for cars, and there's no place to put it.
So, Stephen, the guy who gave, who was the person who handed out that bulletin, the Melvin Jones, when he was introducing him, he mentioned McFarland. Don't get Johnny started talking about McFarland Boulevard, the traffic,
At least they're kinda used to
which
it.
was hilarious during a word presentation.
Welcome back to the noon
Welcome
show,
back.
right here on FM 100.1, better known as Fun Radio. And thank you for joining us. Fascinating conversation already underway, and this is going to get even better in just a second. We're going to get back to Dr. Stephen. Can I call you Dr. Stephen? That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
That's totally
That
fine.
I
is
like
cool.
that. Dr. Stephen.
I like that.
I'm meeting more PhDs these days, and I tell you what, I am blown away, not only by their expertise and knowledge and brain power, but just how super nice these folks are.
Yeah.
They're really cool people. And Stephen, you're one of them.
Ah, thank you.
We just love connecting with you guys.
I know
I'll tell
who
you
else
someone
is super cool
It
and super nice.
yeah.
Those be the people at Bryant Bank.
How did you know that?
I just sensed it.
I was
just sensed
thinking,
it.
you know, what a place to
Thinking the same thing.
connect.
Yes,
You know, if you want to connect with the best bankers in Alabama,
they are the best.
it's the folks at Bryant Bank.
Yeah.
Born here 20 years ago, still headquartered here, still the only true community-based bank in town,
Right.
even though they are statewide now, the best bank in Alabama. They were chosen that last year early, well, in the fall, I think it was. And wow, when you become a customer, you become part of their family. It's a family-owned bank. The entrepreneurship that put this bank together is amazing. Matter of fact, I don't know if their entrepreneurial story's ever been told enough, because they have built one of the best banks anywhere.
They sure have.
And they take care of us, the customers, like we're their best friends.
They do.
And they can be of help to you. And if you want to know what the Bryant Difference is all about, and you want to know how they can help you with your financial goals, simply go see them.
Yeah.
And you can walk into any one of their locations, their main headquarters, right there on McFarland Boulevard North. Actually, the traffic through there is not too bad, by the way. Anyway, but you can go by and see them, or you can go to Northport, up around North River, or in beautiful downtown T-Town, where the most friendly, professional team exists. You just walk in, tell them Lisa and Johnny sent you, and you can become a customer right there on the
You
spot,
sure can.
and therefore become part of the Bryant family.
That's right.
It's pretty cool. So go see them today. Remember to tell them Lisa and Johnny sent you. And by the way, the root beer lollipops are hidden behind the teller window, just so you'll know, because they don't keep those out. 'Cause
That's right.
some of us love those.
Mm.
But anyway, go see them today. Remember, they are an equal housing lender also, and a member of
FDIC.
Go see our friends at Bryant Bank today.
Okay, so Dr. Wyman, well, I think we decided we're going to call him Dr. Stephen. Would you please remind our audience what the secret word is to be able to qualify to win the Harrison McCullough and Friends concert ticket that we're giving away?
Mission.
All right, so you're going to drop that secret word into that Facebook post that came out yesterday, mission, And you will be entered into a random drawing on Wednesday when we give those tickets away live on the air.
That's right.
So
We're on a mission
that's right.
to
And so
help one mission.
that's right. So Stephen, I think Johnny Rocket's going to circle those wagons around and try to talk a little bit about economic development based on something else we heard on you discussing with David Oliva on your episode of the Concentrating on Chromatography podcast.
Yeah, that was I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed the whole conversation.
Yeah, it was great.
But it was a great conversation because David and you were talking about how do you take what you're learning in the lab and applying it and making it something that can be practical and applied in the real world.
Yeah.
And can you remind folks a little bit about what we were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the fundamental science, trying to understand like how does this work, if it does work, and then trying to understand like, well, can we make it better if we understand the nitty gritty details on how all this works, and then how do we scale that up, right? Sometimes that's easy to do, sometimes it's not easy to do, right? There's things in our lab that sometimes we take 24, 48 hours to do, not so practical on a commercial scale, versus some things take seconds to do, which is very practical. So if we try to balance some of those things and think about those things sometime, but ultimately we're trying to understand whether or not we have an idea that even works.
Yeah, and there's some big names that we all know. DuPont comes to mind.
Yep.
You know,
They're a big one.
does a lot of this stuff, but you know, as far as a local state application, you know, we're always looking, how do you take research and put it in the marketplace? And one of the things that caught my attention as y'all were talking was that oftentimes, and this goes on in a lot of different levels, but the education academic community and the economic community don't often talk the same language.
Sure, absolutely.
Mhm.
And that's always been an issue. And how do you approach that? I mean, because in business, we can figure out how to take it to market.
Mhm.
But if there's a language barrier, and I don't mean like a foreign language,
Sure.
but
Oh yeah.
but it's almost like a foreign language to a
Well,
business industrial owner to
Honestly,
what y'all are doing.
yeah, and I couldn't help but wonder: are there any partnerships, say, between the business school and engineering, arts and sciences? Do those exist
There's
already?
some. I mean, we have the like the STEM to MBA program that the university offers. So we have a lot of students who are degree in chemical and biological engineering. I'm sure that's the case with other engineerings and the sciences. So you get a degree in chemical engineering, and then you go and have a 5th year to get your MBA. And so you have people who understand a little bit of both of those worlds to be able to do some of that.
What I'm kind of thinking about is like on a research level, like to bring that into industry, like partner with the School of Business, and they can help you maybe get corporate partners.
There's some of that. If you have to have the right idea at the right time to be able to do some of those things sometimes, right? So it can be challenging, right? You got to have the time and motivation.
That's not where
to
your
go through
interests
some of that.
lie,
So,
because
not
you're
mine in
an
particular,
innovator. You're an
but-
innovator at
But
heart.
maybe one day, I mean, if we have the right technology that lends itself to that, right, then sure. We just haven't gotten quite there yet.
Yeah, we had the privilege of going over to the Edge for a
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurial weekend, and were blown away by these young students. These were everything from freshmen to postgraduate students. And they walked in on Friday only with an idea, nothing else. And by Sunday, they were pitching a product. And I got to thinking, is there a way to connect that to what you guys do in the lab in engineering, arts, and sciences?
We absolutely should. I mean, you can take ideas of like things that we've patented or patent disclosures that are out there, right? So it's IP protected so that you can have some more of these conversations and then be able to go through and maybe have them figure out, well, where would I take this? How would I do this? And oftentimes, right, that takes a lot of brain power. So sometimes we need those people to be able to take that load because we just sometimes don't have that.
Well, right. And so David had mentioned in your conversation, he's talking about, he says, I go to a fair number of academic conferences, and you look at the poster presentations. And he gave this example, a low-cost way to, we'll just say, fill in the blank. He says it makes him wonder, what about those partnerships? So I'm wondering, maybe more business people should attend those academic conferences.
Yeah, there's things like, techno-economic analyses, life cycle assessments that we sometimes do with our work to try and get some of that understanding on whether or not it is economic or appropriate from a full life cycle understanding. Because a lot of that, we're just like, hey, go do this, go do this, go do this. And we don't always think about those things.
I didn't even know techno-economic was a word, but I love it.
Yeah, they're called TEAs, techno-economic analyses. And so it's very helpful. We've worked with a couple companies on these, but they're helpful to get like bulk costs of things, because we get our costs from our vendors that the university works with, and that's a number. But oftentimes when you buying things in bulk, it's a different price. When you're talking about a gallon drum versus a bottle.
Correct.
And so we have to understand how those things
Well,
translate.
and I don't want to chase this down a rabbit hole, but what the word is often used in today is the ecosystem. Used to just apply to the environmental, arena. That's not the case anymore. There's an economic ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you read about that and you look at, and the book I like is called The Rainforest, written by an academic from Southern California. Hard book for me to read, except until you get to the last part of it. Then it talks about the economics and compares it to an environmental ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we're talking about, that this ecosystem that, let's use the University of Alabama's ecosystem. All the different disciplines and all the different parts of it are here.
Yeah.
Every part. And from a community point of view, and Lisa and I love to push the idea of a research part.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's time to create one.
Sure.
That way we can marry up the guys like you that do such superb work in the lab and with your PhD candidates, with our business economic community that the university's turning out to.
Sure.
It just seems like it's the right time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to get into our discussion about PFAS, but we're up against a break. So we're going to go ahead and segue to break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about what are PFAS and why are they called forever chemicals, and why should we care about our water quality? You've been listening to the Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be here right back. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to throw out a two-parter
Go right
as far as
ahead.
PFAS, because we're running very low on time, and I want to get this.
I got my evidence.
I'm glad I got all these questions printed out. Then I was like, take all the questions I had from your other podcast.
Well, again, one of the things we try to do is plan ideas out there. And I'll ask the president today about a research. I'll ask him. And that advocacy role is very important for you guys.
Yeah.
You'll find, and maybe I should do more, but I don't know if anybody notices, but I'll keep going like the little engine that could. I'll tag the National Science Foundation in a lot of these, these STEM-based discussions.
Yeah, I have no idea if you can see those.
I don't know if they do or not, but I should probably do
Doesn't hurt.
it. Also NIH and
There's NIH is a mess right now. And there's DOE, Department of Energy, Department of Defense.
all those were all cut. All those budgets.
They all got cut to some degree.
Except defense.
Defense did not.
DOE, Department of Energy.
DOE, they're starting to issue things again, but it was like 9 months before it.
NIH.
NIH has been hit a
NSF.
bunch. NSF's been hit a bunch. The US EPA, their whole research division, don't quote me on this, but essentially got cut.
Wait, what? The who?
The US EPA, Environmental Protection Agency.
Oh, US EPA?
Yeah, so this lends to the PFAS discussion because that's a big problem. The USDA, things got,
USDA?
there's research all over, all these
All those different
DOE.
parts.
DOE. I mean, I've got funding from the Bureau of Reclamation, but I don't know if they're issuing any new awards now.
We need to mention the secret party.
So
Wait, no, we did that again, didn't we?
we did it once.
Yeah.
Or second time.
Yeah, we're good on that.
No, I'm not going to talk. We got administration.
No, I don't think it's that.
They have no clue what they're doing on terms of research funding.
So anyway, it's affected all of them. Even the Department of Defense has been affected somewhat. Of course, also the government shutdown didn't necessarily help things either. So, but you may be having another one. Who knows? And
That's
we'll
right.
find out today.
So
That is
PFAS
going
is the
on.
per and poly.
Right now, we just got
Oh.
this in Washington. That's the problem. I don't know what our priorities are.
Yeah, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances.
So what?
PFAS.
Oh, cool.
It's a nine
Substances,
I can
okay.
pronounce that.
pre-owned
Yeah,
event.
just say PFAS.
Per and poly alcohol
Yes.
substances.
Yep.
$99.
What the heck?
Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. Mercedes of Tuscaloosa.com. Mercedes of Tuscaloosa.com.
Poly meaning many. Poly meaning many. What is per? What is the per?
So, poly could mean like a multiple chains put together, and per is sort of just one chain. It's the easiest.
So
way to
simple
represent
and okay.
You can call us live at 205
Skip
723
Kent, he doesn't require us to
or
do
message
commercial.
us.
We should mention him during that edge thing though.
Yeah.
Really,
Here's
probably.
Lisa.
Welcome back to the Noon Show right here on FM 100.1.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being part of the fun show right here and joining the family here at the Noon Show. We do appreciate you. And this is a fascinating conversation, Miss Sunshine.
Yes, I'm ready to get right back into the discussion.
Let's keep talking with Dr. Stephen, and because we've got so many questions
I
today.
have so many, and I'm not even getting. I think I'm going to get to one on this page. The other questions I asked were from the other podcasts I had not previously planned, but I'm going to dive right into this. I'm going to throw out a two-parter. So before, when you were here before, we talked about per and poly alkyl substances, PFAS for short, and they have been termed forever chemicals.
Yep.
So I would like to know two things. What's the part of that story that would surprise most people the most right now? And also, if someone asked you, why should I care about PFAS if my water looks clear and tastes fine? How would you explain that in super down-to-earth, relatable, plain English?
Well, let's take the second question first, right?
Okay.
Why should we care? So, just because you can't see things in your water doesn't mean it isn't there. There's sort of a,
Right.
At least I think it's a famous picture. In National Geographic magazine, they took a drop of seawater and looked at it under a microscope, right? And you would have thought, oh, it's just salt water, right? There's a whole lot more there than you realize. And there's little critters, etc., things that you can't really see just with your naked eye, right? So there's lots of stuff present in your water that you may not necessarily know about, especially in the lake, right? So we've got to clean that before we can consider it drinking water. There are standards that you have to meet that are set by the EPA or the state, right? Things like this that you have to meet in order for it to be clean. But there are things that if it's not, that can really affect your health, right? And PFAS is certainly one of them. They've been linked to certain types of cancers. They've been linked to certain types of other health effects. At high concentrations, they can change your teeth discoloration, mouth discoloration. There's a lot of different things out there.
What?
Around
That
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So
Yeah.
there's a movie out there called Dark Waters that sort of pinpoints how all of this got, or at least how part of this got found. The lawsuit with DuPont, and it was set by a lawyer based out of Cincinnati, and it all, of course, stemmed from a friend of his grandmother who happened to live in this town in West Virginia, which is kind of crazy. And had this lawyer not spent hours and hours and hours and hours sifting through pages and pages of documents, we may not know it's as extensive of a problem as it actually is. So it's pretty cool. But the movie's dark, it's a dramatized version, but nonetheless is a very insightful movie about the problem.
Dark Waters.
Dark Waters.
So I'm wondering if one of the surprising parts about PFAS would be how it actually gets into the water supply.
Yeah, so it's right. So they're per and
poly.
polyfluoroalkyl substances.
Okay.
So it's mostly carbon-fluorine bonds on a carbon-carbon chain. That may not mean a lot to some people, but basically a carbon-fluorine bond is one of the strongest that we know of. And so it's very, very, very hard to break. And that's why they're called forever chemicals, right? Is because they're very, very hard to break down. And there's lots of research in this area to try and figure out how to break those things down. And there's some cool ideas that are certainly out there. But they're not necessarily ideas that are usable or available currently for, all your different water treatment plants all over the country. And so we have to work on making those technologies and making sure that they're robust and accessible to everybody.
Before we get it, where do those carbon-based elements come from?
So, right, I think the classic example would be the Teflon coated pans that we used to have, right? That coating is what the PFAS is, and that coating pops off. It gets chemically broken down, pops off, and
It's in your food.
And now it's in your food. It gets in your water source. They were using it to make Teflon And so then after they made the Teflon, they would dispose of that, and that would get into the water source. That's sort of what the Dark Waters movie goes.
Yeah, that's a good example. Matter of fact, I did away with all my non-stick
Yeah.
Pots and pans
Yeah,
and
yeah.
went for something that's PFAS clean.
Yeah,
So
it's
that was because of last time you were on.
yeah. There's lots of different things that are parts of it, and there. I mean, it's all over the place. It's all, people have found it in rainwater in certain places, and the scary thing in the U.S. is that there was a study done. I don't remember exactly when, but of all the humans that they sampled in the United States, something like 95% of them had some amount of PFAS present in their system, right? They bioaccumulate, means your body doesn't know how to get rid of it. So it accumulates. And once it accumulates to a certain level, then you get those bad health effects.
So, and you talked a little bit about this last time. The membrane development is the way to address this.
One of the ways, right? So membranes are really helpful for removing them from the water that you want to drink. One of the challenges we still have in the membrane community is that doesn't necessarily break them down. You're just left with a concentrated stream that you need to do something with. And so in some cases, right, perhaps we can create a catalytic membrane out there to be able to degrade those things. We don't have that yet. There are other sort of, as we call them, PFAS destruction technologies out there that are being worked on. Lots of cool ideas, and so we've just got to get certain ones to stick that water treatment companies, plants across the country can utilize across the world.
Okay, so I was wondering, speaking of membranes, so fouling in membranes, it sounds kind of gross. I'm wondering.
This is what my PhD was on.
Oh, okay, so you know a little bit about that, or a
Yeah.
lot. So I'm wondering if you could explain to us, what is it and why is it such a big problem in water treatment? And then I've got a follow-up right after.
Yeah, so it could be membrane-based or not membrane-based. Fouling is still a problem, right? So you have stuff in water that you don't want to consume.
Sure.
Right? And so when you filter that out, whether it's through a membrane or a sand filter, right? Those are generally the two common filtration approaches for water treatment plants. The stuff that you don't want in the water gets left behind, right? It doesn't pass through so that you have the clean water to drink. But you've got to do something happens with that stuff. And so a lot of times it sticks to the membrane surface or it'll stick to the sand filter. And when that happens, you get a loss of productivity. So that's a loss of water flow rate through the membrane because you have this buildup of layer on top. And sometimes it can actually reduce the separation performance. So if you want, 99% water and now all of a sudden you get 95%, that's a problem. So we've got fouling is a huge issue. It's the Achilles heel of the membrane industry. And so that's one that we're constantly trying to work on and solve.
Is a lay person's way of saying get rid of the gunk.
Yeah, right. You don't want the gunk sticking to the surface.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that? I mean,
So there are different approaches. You can backwash either the filter, the sand filter, or the membrane. So basically you put clean water through in the opposite direction that you normally flow it, and it'll push it off the surface.
oh, that
And
makes
then
sense.
you wipe it away. You can chemically clean it too. So certain chemicals to do that. Oftentimes those chemical cleanings are degrading to the membrane. And so it eventually, right, the membrane has to be replaced at some point, usually about 5 years or so, but it depends on how often.
5 years is a sweet spot. I heard you say that on
Yeah, right.
the
Like, we always talk
podcast
about,
thing.
can we create a perfect membrane? Well, no company's going to sell a perfect membrane
Because you won't make money.
you won't make any money. So
That's-
5 years seems to be about the sweet spot for that.
Well, speaking of making membranes, so your lab works on making membranes more sustainable. So what does greener water technology actually mean in real life? Is it lower cost, less energy, safer materials?
Yeah, so membranes themselves as a process is considered a reasonably green process because you're using lower energy than you would with something like thermal evaporation or distillation, a heat-based technique where you're boiling the water off to then recollect it, right? And so membranes use significantly less energy than that. So they're thought of as a greener process, but the actual fabrication of a membrane is not so green. You use petroleum-derived solvents to be able to do these. These solvents are often pretty hazardous to both humans and the environment. Now they're generally what we call low vapor pressure, meaning they don't you won't smell them so much if you put them out in a beaker or something like that. But they're not good for you, and they're derived from petroleum, which has a finite resource, right? We need to use it. So
it is
if we can
fine,
find
right.
plant-based things to be able to replace that,
Okay.
maybe healthier things that are less toxic to both humans and the environment, right? All of these things are beneficial on this front.
I'm just curious, what petroleum-based products are you solvents are you using?
Yeah, so I mean, the common ones in the industry are what's called N,N-dimethylformamide or dimethylcetamide. Yeah, DMAC. And then right here in town, actually, Gaylord Chemical, we have the world's largest producer, I think, world's largest producer of DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide.
Yes,
that is a
yeah.
little bit greener of a substance than those, but so that, likely that would be the next transition point that companies would probably use.
They make that here in town?
Yeah. They're connected with the Hunt Refining Company.
Yeah, with Hunt.
Yep. And they can use that process to make DMSO.
Real quick question. The membrane technologies, can that be applied to salt water?
Oh yeah, right. So you've probably heard of reverse osmosis membranes, right? That is seawater desalination.
Okay, so
absolutely.
So
that's definitely something we work on in my
lab. Trying to transform seawater into water we can actually use.
Yeah, and that requires a significant amount of what we would call pre-treatment before it gets to the RO membrane, because you don't want this fouling on RO membranes. They're pretty fragile, and so if you do something wrong with them, their lifetime goes down quickly.
So the DMSO, is this the deuterated or the not?
It's not deuterated.
No deuterated.
It's dimethyl sulfoxide.
I was just curious. Yeah.
It's not deuterated. Well, deuterated is a lot more expensive.
Yes.
I know.
By the ampule.
This is complicated stuff, and it takes a lot of effort. And again, that's one reason we ought to be supporting the research at the University of Alabama, trying to find these solutions.
Absolutely. When you change a solvent, you change how the membrane's made. Typically on these fronts, you use solvent cast it. So you cast a polymer film and then you precipitate it in something like water. And so how that precipitation occurs, how the solvent exchanges from that polymer phase into the water, all of that dictates the ultimate membrane performance that you get out, the properties that you get out. So if it's not the same, right, companies don't want to use it.
Is there something quickly that we could use at home on our, say, refrigerators, like that dispense water?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of refrigerators nowadays come with some sort of filter in it. Make sure that you replace those every so often.
Yes.
Typically, they're activated carbon and ion exchange resin that's inside of there. So if you were to cut it open, you'd see beads, black and typically white or something like that.
Okay.
Beads. And those are pretty good for filtering out and getting rid of things that make your water taste potentially bad, right? From like disinfection byproducts and things like that.
Dr. Stephen, we love you coming to visit us. This is fascinating.
I've had a lot of fun. This went by so fast.
It
thank you for what all you're doing and the way you're leading, especially training that new generation.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk. We talked about all of that we wanted to. Yeah. We have so many more questions, so you're going to have to come back.
I guess so. That's okay.
Okay, we are out of time, Dr. Stephen. I'm going to close this out, but I want to thank you for coming. But I want to let you know, Stephen, tomorrow on the show, we have another university professor, Dr. Seth Panich. He is a theater professor at the University of Alabama. He's got a new book coming out, and I am so excited to talk to him about that. It's called Antique.
Antique, and I've read the first 2 chapters. It was set up beautifully, by the way.
For sure. All right, so we really are out of time now. I'm going to close this out, but before we go, I want to remind everyone, don't forget to spay or neuter your furry friends and keep those tails wagging with up-to-date vaccinations. This is Lisa Jones signing off for the Noon Show. But before we go, I'd like to wish everyone a splendiferous rest of their day. See you on the radio tomorrow.